right, so go ahead and state your name and tell me your ride. What am I looking at?
Name's Jim Taylor. Everybody calls me Old Man Taylor from the old street racing days. What you're looking at's a 64 GTO, which I bought brand new. I was in my last semester of college when these came out. When I saw the article, the performance article, I had to go test one of those. So I did. And a long story about how to make the deal. I lived in the San Fernando Valley, went to Van Nuys, and they said something they backed away from, and I didn't have any more money, so I went to Fedco. They had a car referral place, so they referred me to A.E. England Pontiac in Hollywood. I gave them my list, and with no hassle at all, they gave me a price cheaper than the one they rejected in Van Nuys, so I ordered it. I didn't have enough money to buy it, so I put $100 down to get it ordered. It took 8 weeks to get it. Gave the other $300 to finish the down payment when it showed up. Got it the week before I got married, so it was just in time for our honeymoon.
Oh, that's so awesome.
It was a family car for a long, long time until we got another car and I started hopping it up and street racing it. It's the motor's a 434. It's a hybrid. It's not exactly anything Pontiac ever built. It's this block and those heads and this crank and rods. It is a 66 tri-power from a 66 GTO. It's a 5-speed now. When I bought it, it was a 4-speed tri-power. Now it's a 5-speed. And then if you look, you'll see some extra tubes. It's got nitrous oxide under every carburetor.
That's so awesome. And I lived in Van Nuys for about 2 years. I lived off Sherman Way, kind of the major street right there.
No, I know exactly. What other street?
Sherman and Woodman. So it's just...
you were way further east. We were...
right off the 210.
We were west of Sepulveda.
Gotcha. Okay,
just off of Sherman Way. And then later, in Granada Hills, we were on Devonshire, way north of Sherman Way.
And I think if I would have stayed in LA, I would have loved to have lived maybe in like Reseda or, I didn't want to go as far as Sylmar, but I was even looking at places like that. But I was able to get out.
The Valley was a good place to move away from today. It was great when I grew up. I don't really like it anymore.
Yeah, I ended up moving out to Menifee, so I'm much happier here.
I was going to say, you made a good choice.
Yeah. Now, okay, this thing is amazing, and you've kept it all these years. Yeah. And, the interiors looks fantastic. Motor, you've already described the motor. But can you describe to me some of the way cars have evolved from this to kind of the modern stuff now? What are your thoughts or opinions about that?
It's kind of interesting the way they got where they did now. They started with the smog stuff, tightening engines up, not having emissions, and not having oil drips either. So when they started redesigning engines unsuccessfully for a while, till they came out with the LS motor. And the LS motor, it's a strong engine, it doesn't leak, you can do almost anything to it. They're like belly buttons, anybody can have one that wants it. So a lot of people, purists with cars like mine, complain because people put stuff like that in cars like this. That's the day and age. Those are great engines. You can do whatever you want to with them. I wouldn't do it, but it's just because I'm old and I like it the way it is. And logically, it makes good sense to do something like that. So yeah, the new motor, maybe that LS1 mainly is really a good engine.
Now, what kind of advice, and sorry, I'm like flicking mosquitoes and everything. What kind of advice would you give to those my age? I'm in my mid-30s, but someone or even younger that are trying to get into the muscle car kind of culture?
Save a lot of money. That's the problem for young people anymore. The muscle cars, since they haven't made them for so long, the ones they do have require a lot of money. And when you're going to pay that money, that's why they start getting into something else. So I think for younger people, it's really hard, unless it's somebody in the family or something like that where they work a deal.
Gotcha.
If you just go purchase one, just a decent driver is $35,000.
Yeah, just looking at the classifieds, and that's a very good point. And I think that's why a lot of these cats are looking more into the tuner cars and the Japanese stuff, which is fine.
They
but
can afford it.
But again, that's not going to be the same experience as what this was.
No, but as they grow older, they'll look back the same way we look back on our stuff. You do what you can with what you got.
Yeah. I agree. I can't agree with you more on that. Last question. California is going to be transitioning to electrification in the next 15 to 20 years. What are your thoughts of electric cars in the future, the car culture?
They're bullshit.
It's true.
They are not green, but they refuse to look at the whole process and what it takes to get the rare earths and everything else to make the car. They don't address what they do with the stuff that's dead because they can't recycle it yet. And they're not really green. Look at the grid now. They're asking us not to use power from 4 to 9.
This whole
and there's
week?
only something like 4 or 5% electric cars. Imagine when it was 50%, 60%, 80%. We don't have the power grid to support it.
And San Onofre is done, and all between all the nuclear waste and all that.
San Onofre was political. A friend of mine was a project engineer there. He said it would have been no problem to get it running again. But politically, they were shooting it down. Well, the last one is Diablo Canyon, and they were just trying to shut it down. And Newsom finally, there's too much political heat. If he shuts that down, we lose even more power. I think it provides 10% of the state power, something like that.
Well, it's unfortunate that it's a mandate that they're trying to do, and hopefully that we elect. That we're still the people. Yeah, we're still the people, and we can still elect those that are willing to say, hey, let's reevaluate this and let's see what we can do to make it
but you're assuming they're logical. Seriously.
I gotta have faith in my humanity. I gotta be on this planet at least another 60 years.
Do not confuse politics and logic. They have no bearing on each other.
And especially when it comes to them wanting to touch our cars. So I really
that 2035 thing about no gas. You can't legislate science. And the politicians in some areas are so ignorant they don't even understand that. To them, they're gods. They can make stuff happen, whatever it is. They just have to pass a law. Well, that's in science. That's BS.
I hope they listen to you, and I hope you're right, because I think heck, I had a scheduled blackout like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I couldn't open my fridge. Like I said, I didn't want to touch anything.
Yeah.
But again, hopefully they can listen to logic and reason and try to
They won't.
try to help the people
There's a
out.
special interest group that supports us with a lot of money. They're going to listen to the special interest groups they have now.
That's true. You can have the best idea in the world, but without people or without money, everything gets gone away. Well, I appreciate your time. I'm just going to do a quick couple walk around shots, and then get you head out home, huh?